I don't know what happened there. Both of us just froze.
It's the same every single time we start this. I'm like, what do I do it?
It's always that awkward.
Welcome to the SeriesPod podcast. I'm V.
And I'm Andrew. Get your favourite beverage ready and join our book club.
And welcome back, our dear friends, to another episode of the SeriesPod podcast, where we talk about book series. And in this instance, we are on our second book of the In Death series by J.D.Robb, Glory in Death.
Mm-hmm.
And as per usual, we're going to start with a summary. In this episode, we find out more information about Whitney's wife. Rourke makes another big surprise for Eve. Oh, another separation. Or maybe not. Because so far all the big surprises have not gone down smoothly for him.
Yeah, they're not being pleasant, have they?
No, definitely not. We get more fun time with Mavis as the girls decide to get drunk one night. And we also get another victim.
We do. A victim with a twist as well.
Oh, yes. So let's get right into it. Chapter 10. We get Nadine and Eve at Eve's office doing a story piece to get more airtime.
Yeah, but Nadine doesn't know that first. Like, she thinks this is a gift. She obviously knows something is going on. She's like, Eve would never do this.
Yeah, so Nadine she doesn't know what she's trying to do at this point. We just know. Do we know what Eve is planning, or was that a suspense that I just ruined?
She tells that at the end of
Right. Oh well, yeah. She
kind
tells
of thing.
she told that to Rourke, didn't she, in the previous episode?
No, yeah, well, yeah, she told it to Rourke in the previous chapter, but she does actually tell Nadine at the end of it to get as much FaceTime as possible.
Yeah, so she does ask Nadine, how much airtime can you get me? And then at first Nadine doesn't get the motive behind it and actually gets offended until it clicks. And then she is so shocked.
Yeah. It shows that Nadine cares, though, which I thought was really sweet. Like,
yeah.
She was like, because Eve wanted cameras in like 3 different places. And she was like, why are you just doing this for money? And then she realizes and she's like, you're putting a target on your back. Are you insane?
Eve does warn Nadine to watch out for herself, too, because she's obviously on air a lot of the times. So she's a big fish in the reporting world, and she's a
strong woman, yeah, and she doesn't like being told that. I mean, I don't think you would either, but
yeah, I mean, you know. We skip forward to after the event and the press conference that Eve asked Nadine to attend and film. So we see Eve and Rourke lounging at home after their fancy, like a ball, I think it was.
Yeah, because she was in a... Did it say she was in a 3-piece suit? Sorry, 1 second, my cat is clawing the window! Stop it!
It said that she's what is left of a 3-piece something.
Then I don't think they were lounging. I think, if what's left of a 3-piece, that means that he's taken clothes.
Do you know, I think if that was the case, she would have been completely naked. I think she got home and just undressed all the uncomfortable parts and then got lazy.
Oh, like as you do after like work or uni, just dash some shit this way. Yeah, okay, fair
Because
enough,
I think if they were up to something, she would have been naked by then.
I mean, he did grab her boobs, so...
Yeah, but for him that's mild, I feel like. For a person who has a bed rolling out of every single wall in his house, I feel like that's the least of it.
You know what? Fair point, yeah.
They fall asleep and Rourke wakes Eve up saying he has to go off planet again for a couple of days.
Yeah, and she's like a bit upset by that. Well, not upset, she's like, oh.
Just kind of, to be, left alone. But before he leaves, he gives her a big surprise, which I found very sweet. But I was like, ugh.
I think it was very sweet, but how it was described in the book, is it in the same building? Because how big is this fucking building?
His house is enormous, but yeah, he basically made a replica of her apartment inside his house, but better. It got like some wildlife flowers and everything.
Yeah, like he upgraded everything.
Yeah, so his office and her office had like a sliding door.
Yeah, but she can lock it. Yeah. I mean, he got it. Like, so he said, like, you need your own privacy, you need your own space, you do your own investigations at home. So, like, you can barricade yourself in when I'm not here, you can barricade yourself in when I am here. And yeah, I thought it was very sweet.
It was very sweet, but she never got anything as big as this, so she wasn't sure how to react.
Yeah.
And I think Rourke was used to, you know, a bit more emotion from his female.
And she was just going, thanks. Like, you could see she liked it, but yeah.
Yeah, so he was getting really worked up until she finds her thoughts again and gives him a big kiss goodbye and says thank you.
The bit that I liked is as he was in the elevator, as the doors were closing, she like said, I love you. And you could just see, like, he smiled and that was it. If that was me, I would have like held the doors. I was like, hold the fuck up, bitch, say it again.
What'd you say?
Yeah. No, I thought that was very cute.
Yeah, it was very sweet of him. He knew what to get her to make her feel at least a little bit more comfortable in the house.
Yeah.
We moved to Eve visiting Finny, who was at work all night. And through the conversation, you could gather that he was sort of beating around the bush to get to the information that he was there for.
Which is unusual because, you know, usually info is info. There's nothing.
Yeah, he's a captain. It's work. What he did find is some information about the commander's wife. She's involved. Dun dun dun.
When I read that, I reread that 3 times. I was like, commander's wife. Do they mean Whitney? No, they can't mean Whitney. So then I kept reading. I was like, oh shit, it's his wife.
Yeah. So Anna Whitney gave $200,000 to David
In 4 installments, just before his mom died, and it stopped after that.
So it did look like David was bleeding Anna for the finances.
Yeah.
It was from her personal account. So they have to go and tell the commander. And Feeny suggests to take all the body armor they have in storage before they go and see the commander. So they were expecting some sort of outburst of emotion, but the commander just glared at them, mostly.
Yeah. I mean, he was definitely trying to get around procedure, but he bit his tongue and let Eve and Feeny do their thing. You could see every now and again he was like, you're not going to interrogate my wife, and Feeny was like, yes we are. You can be there if you want, and he's like, you had no choice, I was going to be there anyway.
And that's how we leave chapter 10. So we're getting into the nitty-gritty part of the story.
Yeah. What did you think the mother had done? Like, why... Not the mother, Whitney's wife.
Well, at this point, because, well, air quotes, we don't know anything about it. I remember the first time I read this, I thought from, she was having an affair with him, and then, to they had some...
I thought the same thing. Yeah.
Business on the side, or... she needed to buy something and couldn't do it directly because of her name, which would get linked to the police, so she was using him. I thought so many different scenarios what it could have been, because it's such a random thing to do, in a sense that they're so closely linked. They could be just bizarrely anything, from legal to illegal to outrageous.
The thing about the affair was that was the first thing that came to my mind, but then he's her godson, and that would just be fucking weird. Chapter 11 threw me because, their attorney's their daughter, and I was like, this could not get any worse.
Yeah, the whole family is involved. So chapter 11 starts is that we go speak to Anna directly, and on the way Commander called his daughter because she's an attorney, and he asked her to represent through the interview.
Why he would do that? Like, what if she was having an affair? You're just about to, this is your daughter. Oof, no.
I mean, from the looks of it, she's a really good attorney.
Oh, yeah, she did, yeah.
It was probably the safest and the quickest way to do it, so that it doesn't get outside of the family, but she's still a good representative for her mother.
Yeah.
Anna is confused by the whole thing, but eventually
Eve catches her out.
Yeah, so Eve, first she asks about the money, and Anna was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then Anna asks about her daughter if she needs to answer. Linda takes her mother away for a bit to see the whole story because Linda obviously didn't know about what her mother was into.
Yeah. Yeah.
While they go do that, Commander sort of compliments Eve on her interviewing skills, but it is very sarcastic, passive aggressive sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because Eve
It was like a well done for catching her out, but this is my wife, so
yeah.
fuck you. Yeah.
But yeah, he's implying that she could have gone easier on his wife and Feeney defends her. And then I have this note, which I'm not, it won't have the full impact yet, but as we read through these books, I got a notion of that this kind of thing happens quite regularly, that someone in Eve's circle gets in some kind of trouble. We've seen it in the previous one with Rourke, now we're seeing it with the Commander.
Yeah.
And this theme does continue.
Oh, you're actually like fully correct on that too. Yeah, I didn't notice that until you pointed that out.
Yeah, so I'm surprised that Eve hasn't learned to sometimes somewhere be a bit softer. So she goes full cop. But I suppose
I mean, it's only been twice.
yeah, but I think that's why sort of are learning from it.
Yeah.
But with the amount of time that this is going to be a reoccurring theme, you would imagine that it would have been the statistics probability would have been the same before the book started.
There's a hint, listeners. There is more to come from Eve's Circle, and the next one, if I'm correct in thinking, is a big one. So his wife comes back in. They explain that he owed money to some really bad people. His mum and his dad didn't want to lend him the money, and they told her not to either. But then he came to her a few days later crying and like worried that they were going to kill him or kidnap him. So she lent him the money. It was a loan, and she has full faith that he's going to pay her back, even though he has gambling debts. And then their daughter catches Eve out, which I was quite surprised by, because Eve kept saying like, why didn't you volunteer this information the first 2 times I interviewed you? And the daughter was like, did you ask about their finances? And Eve said no, and she's like, well, then she had no reason to volunteer it. And I thought, oh, okay, good for you, well done.
Yeah, Linda, I had the impression that Linda is a good attorney.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she did her job very well.
And then she goes back home, right? She goes back to Rourke's place, which I guess you can call their home now.
Yeah, so after they finish the interview, Eve really wants a drink, so she invites Mavis over to get drunk. And I love how Eve indulges in Mavis's excitement over her fascination of Rourke and the fancy wealth. She feeds off of Mavis's excitement and just as equally feeds that excitement.
Oh, I mean, she sent her a limo.
Yeah, because she's like, let's do the whole thing, let's send a limo after you. Because she was so excited to spend the night at Rourke's place.
Yeah, she was like, Rourke's? Yes, I'll be there immediately.
Yeah.
And the best bit was like I got the impression that Somerset thought it was going to be a male companion for Eve.
Yes, because and Eve Mavis really sort of played on that as well. Yeah, and then Mavis turns up. And Somerset is so shocked by what comes through the door that he doesn't know where to be horrified or enchanted by Mavis.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to kiss her hand and he was like, nope.
No, wait, what's going on?
And then he basically ran away. Like, he took her coat and he ran down the hallway. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, pause for a second. I understand you probably might not appreciate the full amazement that I have, but air glided high heels. Oh,
bitch. I read that too. I was like, I need some sneaks to do that because
I mean, isn't that amazing? You're walking around in high heels, not actually walking,
and you can't even feel it. I know. Oh gosh, bitch. This kind of technology better come, but I don't want to wait for 2058. That's too far. I need it now.
I'm not going to be wearing high heels by then. I have like 2 pairs because I cannot walk in them. So Eve takes Mavis on a tour.
How many rooms does this place have? And how big is it?
I think it's a big mansion.
But he has a solarium with trees, birds, and
Yeah.
waterfalls.
Isn't that amazing?
Not a pond, not a water feature, a waterfall.
Mavis is so excited over a real fireplace that she says that I don't mind roasting in May if that means that she gets to have it through the night.
I guess fireplaces are not common. At least we don't burn fossil fuels in the future, I guess. That would be, a good thing.
Yeah. But then, fireplace isn't that common now either. It's not in like every single...
Yeah, actually that's a fair point. My mum's got disconnected because it was producing carbon monoxide. A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So the electrician or something came around and he was like, your vent's broken and do you use this? I was like, yeah, I like being toasty. And he was like, well, I'm going to disconnect this because you might die. I was like,
oh
okay.
No.
Good to know.
That's so sad.
So real fireplaces.
We leave the girls to have a blast, and we jump to Nadine, busy slaving away at work on the footage they got in Eve's office. And we get to see how much Nadine loves her job. I mean, she really...
And she's clearly very good.
Yes, she's very good and she absolutely loves it. And we also meet her co-worker Louise. They talk a bit before Louise goes to buy some cigarettes. Nadine asks her to pick some up for her and she will pay because she didn't want to go out in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Louise was like, okay, fine, but I'm taking a raincoat because it's pouring outside. They talk some more on the way. Louise tells her about her future plans with her boyfriend, Bongo, I think is his name, right?
His name's Bongo. I'm gonna get into that.
And Nadine was like going, who would want to,
spend the rest of their
settle
life
down
with
with
Bongo?
And Louise was like, me, see you later. Louise waves to the guard on her way out. Then she hunches from the wind and the rain.
She doesn't want to get wet, but yeah, how everyone runs in the rain, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and then she bolts outside. And then just seconds later, her throat gets slashed, and that is another victim of ours. We then jump back to Eve and Mavis enjoying their evening in a pool, very drunk at this point.
Very drunk. Are they skinny dipping? It sounded like at least Mavis was skinny dipping. She was definitely not wearing clothes.
Yeah, Mavis is half naked most of the time, so I'm not entirely sure on her clothing situation at that point. But Eve is wearing something.
Okay, I wasn't sure, because, yeah.
Somerset comes in telling that Eve... she gets the call, obviously, because she's a cop. She asks for the name of the victim, which was not given to her. And naturally she thinks of the worst because, she thinks the killer took the bait and they...
Yeah, because it said there was a murder at channel 75.
Yeah, and they, killed Nadine.
I don't get why they don't tell things over. Like, this isn't the first time that they'd never tell things over.
I think it depends on what code it is because they did mention code yellow.
Are the lines not secure? Because, this happened with Feeney, I want to say, still this book, I just can't remember when. There's definitely been a time where he's not been able to say something over.
Yeah, I think maybe because it would be on record or something. I'm not entirely sure. But I think it's just like a security measure rather than anything else.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's fair.
So, Eve is distraught. She takes a sober up and is also surprised that Somerset helps her out of the pool and gets her car ready for her.
Yeah, because she slipped and Somerset was there to catch her. And he's like, Lieutenant? Just felt like going, Butler? But never mind.
And that's how chapter 11 finishes.
Oh, man. There's a lot more to that, Nadine and Louise thing.
Yeah. So she's really beating herself up.
Yeah.
We start chapter 12 with Eve getting to channel 75. She recognizes the raincoat, and as she reaches to see the face, she's shocked to see a stranger. So she's like, who the hell is this?
Yeah. So
the officer who secured the perimeter and everything says that so they say that CJ Morse found her not long after he threw up nearby and came screaming for the lobby. I would like the listeners to remember this piece of information, please.
Oh.
He found the body, he looked at it, and had the reaction of a normal human being who saw a dead body for, well, I'm not sure if it was for the first time, but he probably doesn't see this quite often.
Yeah.
So he, tossed his cookies in a nearby bush and then came in running through the lobby that someone was dead.
Tossed his cookies.
Yeah.
Is this a saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no.
It's not something I came up with.
Every day. All right then. So, okay, is that what we're taking note of? That he threw up?
Yeah, that he had this reaction and then he came out running like a madman, screaming. He found a dead body. We also meet a wonderful officer, Peabody. She made it into the scene in 5 minutes, as she was close by in time. But by the time she got there, the word has spread around through the Channel 75, so we think that they got quite a bit of footage. So securing the crime scene from reporters this time is impossible.
Yeah. But I think Eve was quite impressed with what she did.
Yes. So Eve was impressed by the efficiency that Peabody performed.
Mm-hmm.
Eve goes to speak to Morse. Nadine is with him on screen, on the news, reporting.
Live, yeah.
Yeah, live, reporting the crime that just happened outside their door.
That is so cold, man.
While Nadine fully knows that this throat slashing was intended for her.
I don't know how she could do that. Yeah. She must have already felt so guilty. And then...
So they show the graphic scene of the crime scene. Eve gets appalled by that and rushes to shut down the broadcast. Then Feeney gets there as well, and she asks him to back her up. They threaten the worker who's running the broadcast to go to commercial. And I love how much Eve and Feeney are a team. Like, he picks up where she leaves off so fluently, so just smoothly. You're like, wow.
Yeah. I'm guessing you're talking about the bit where they go, you look a bit like a suspect. And then Feeney's like, yeah, he does look a bit like a suspect.
Does he look like a cold-hearted killer to you? He's like, yeah, definitely. I was just thinking that. Maybe we should take him in.
Oh.
It was amazing. So they shut down the broadcast and she tells Morse to get into Cop Central and Nadine asks to go with.
Mm.
So we move into interrogating CJ Morse. She asks him to give her a rundown through his evening.
Accounts.
Yeah, and he's acting like a very shocked man. He keeps talking about blood and that he made him sick and that he got scared and went running into the building, screaming his head off. Then we go and talk to Nadine. She's looking rough now. Nothing left of the makeup that she was while she was live broadcasting.
And I think the friendship has kind of disappeared. Not the friendship, but the friendliness between those two. Because Eve was clearly unimpressed and Nadine was not in the mood.
Yeah, Eve was unimpressed. Yeah, Nadine is stressed. And Eve was not impressed because they have accommodated the killer by giving him the satisfaction of airtime right after the kill. But we do get Nadine's story of the evening as well, which we have already read before, that they were talking and she left.
Yeah. Eve didn't really dive much into CJ's story. He was still not present. He said that he had dinner at 7, went home, napped for a couple of hours, left his house or flat or whatever at 10, giving himself an extra bit of time. And he got to the crime scene at around 11:15. That still doesn't account for the hour and 15 minutes that he was not there. Obviously, he was driving for some of it, or whatever transport he takes. I don't know. I felt like it wasn't a very thorough interview, but I'm not a cop, so I don't know.
What she would have been just asking him the same question over and over. There's no way to check how long he was driving, perhaps, or and then it just gets into she needs to check the security cameras to see
maybe
perhaps when he got there or something. So I don't think there was much to interrogate him on, rather than just writing down what time he says he got there.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I
then
suppose,
seeing
yeah.
if that checks out by something.
Yeah. I noticed something else about what you said about for listeners to take note. He was at all the other crime scenes, so why does this one make him throw up? Because he was on scene before cops, no? At the other ones.
No. He just got there very fast.
Oh, okay. Oh, so maybe he didn't see the body.
So before he might have not seen the body as close up as this one.
Yeah.
But I still want listeners to take note of that reaction that he has, because
Just because.
in about 1 or 2 more episodes, when we discuss the last few chapters, this will come up. And I would like the listeners to appreciate
The detective skills of
Viola. The full picture.
So yeah, I think those were a good few chapters.
Yeah. And like before, I kind of thought that CJ Morse was the killer. I'm not gonna lie, because
He's always on scene. Always.
Yeah, he's always on scene. He's not the nicest character. He is very career driven, so he wants to have these kind of like reports so that he can cover them and get more airtime and etc, etc. So, but this reaction just doesn't seem like
Something someone who killed 2 other people would have.
Yeah, if you kill 2 other people with this kind of method, you're not going to be tossing out cookies.
You know what to expect, yeah. Tossing up cookies.
Right? You're not going to be like, oh my god, so gross. How can this happen? And then just go throw up and then come in screaming like a madman and cry in the interrogation, sweating and being appalled by the situation. So now I don't think it's him. Yeah. But that is the end of this episode.
Indeed. It was very quick. It was very efficient.
Yeah. But we hope you enjoyed it. That you had fun with us. Thank you for joining us on another episode.
We're available on all your favorite audio platforms, including Amazon Music.
If you like this episode, give us some love by liking, rating, or sending us a message.
And telling your friends about it, in case they'll like our podcast too. Ooh.
And as always, we will see you next week.
Bye.